What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm going to be covering Tampa XL, which is basically the main Tampa track with so much more. Like, you can see that this place just goes on forever. I believe, looking at the MXV mods post, there is 4 tracks in total. We have the main track, Tampa, right there, and then we've also got 3 different trails. Now, I feel like I'm 100% going to miss something in this video, so I do apologise if I don't get on each and every trail. It gets a little bit difficult with the amount of trees that are dotted around as well, just getting lost. I don't know if there's much in the way of some signage or signpostage to tell me where I'm going, except for that bad boy right there. And so Dylan Frisch already made a Tampa in this game, so Mr. Cloud's gone, you know what, I'm not going to just make exactly the same track again, we're going to go a little bit bigger. So we've got the main track here, which I'm going to cover first, and then one of these trails that are dotted around here, there, and everywhere is actually a pit bike trail, which I'm quite excited for. It'll be fun to get out on the pit bike. It's been a while since I've ridden them. And looking at the dirt's very interesting. It's something that I've not seen before. It's like when you look at it from one angle, it's a dark colour, and then when you fly through to the other side, it's got like this gold like tinge to it. I'm very interesting, and I'm going to stop waffling. We're going to get into it because I think that's the best way of going about it. Oh, there are some signs. Okay, never mind. Ignore me. We'll find our way around. We've got sort of number 1, number 2, and then we'll find, I'm guessing this is number 3 over here. So, actually, no, we can cover them all. Awesome. Sick. Right, okay. I'm going to get into it. Hope you enjoy. Now, I did play Dylan's original Tampa in this game, but it's been so long since I covered it that I honestly can't remember the layout as it is. I know there's probably so many of you watching this that have ridden Tampa IRL, and I usually say, like, tell me how good a job the creator has done of replicating it, but to the best of my knowledge, Mr. Consuming Clouds has not gone for like a true replica here. It's all been upscaled a bit, it's all been made a bit more MX Bikes friendly, and obviously we've got all this weird and wonderful stuff dotted around the track as well. Oh, please don't crash straight away. Oh, it's embarrassing. What I'm noticing, straight off the bat, is there's like a constant rough everywhere. Like, he's added just a little bit everywhere, so the bike's constantly moving underneath you. The brightness coming off that ground actually hurts my eyes a little bit. I can't lie. I'm wondering if it is meant to be like that, or if it's something to do with how I've got my settings set up in game, or maybe my reshade. Maybe that's making things act a little bit funky. But I don't think we're going to be spending a whole lot of time on the main track, which is weird considering that's what it's originally based on. You know me, I'm an enduro guy at heart. We like our trails, like our trail riding, and some of these jumps feel very small, and some of them feel quite big, like a bit of a stretch. So it's going to take me a little while to get my head around what is what. Having never been to Tampa IRL, the track itself looks like a bit of a weird layout. It's like it's quite like supercrossy in a way, not like a normal motocross track. Everything feels like quite close together. It's got lots of little tabletops or doubles. I might have to go do a little bit of homework after this, a little bit of research, and just have a watch of some YouTube videos and see what she's like. Because it's definitely not normal by any means. I mean, looking up at the track map in the top right, it looks quite wide open. Maybe it's just the flow of it, where there's a lot of 180 turns, for example, that could make it feel quite motocrossy rather than it being, I don't know, like a bit more organic, if you know what I mean. Like, the layout of the track looks quite man-made. Up and round here. Oh, it's so bumpy around there. Let's not overjump this and meet my demise this time. Lovely stuff. One thing that I've found out in my track building journey at the moment is like the texture side of things is like just so interesting to me. Like the way that you can set different textures to kind of show through more than others. You change their thickness, the amount of times they repeat to make it less detailed or more detailed, and just have various textures all overlaying each other and overlapping to cause a bit of like uniqueness, so it's not all very uniform and looks quite like manually placed. And I have no idea how I'm gonna deal with it when it comes to trying to like define the ruts and the jumps compared to the rest of the track without it looking super forced. I want it to look quite natural, and I think Mr. Clouds here has done a pretty decent job there. You can see for the most part there's like this much darker texture over some of the ruts, so the ruts are very easy to define. It's not like they all blend in together. There is a defined on track and off track, and he's even added like a little darker bit on the inside of each rut as well to really let you know where your tyres should be going. So it's almost like it holds your hand a little bit, it kind of guides you in the right direction, which I think is really good, which is something I would like to accomplish on my track as well. Very short lap times around here. Only like under a 130, which I think for an outdoors track is on the shorter side. Usually feeling like 2 minutes or so. But no idea how long my track is. To be honest, I've not timed it, and I've not set up any timing like gates or centre line or anything yet, so it can even recognise that I'm doing laps. Be interesting to see how it comes out overall. It's definitely a bit more overscaled than it is IRL, when I've added in a whole bunch of different jumps and multiple ruts in each corner as well, just to try and slow you down a little bit. So we'll see how she goes. I'm very excited. I keep working on it every couple of days rather than just banging it out non-stop, because then I feel like if I do that, I will burn myself out on it, and then it'll never get completed. So little and often, I think, is the way to go. So that is the main track right there. So then we've got 3 trails. We've got Far Away, we've got Over the Hills, and we've got the Pit Bike Trail. And Consuming Clouds has been nice enough to give me a little bit of a description for each one here, or give all of us, and let me just read it. So the one we're on right now has the same textures as the main track, which it does. The beginning part has huge jumps through the mangroves and big uniquely shaped rollover. Near the end of this one there is an arrow sign pointing you in the right direction you need to go. This is part of Far Away, like a GNCC style trail with a few big jumps to make it interesting. The trail ends at the arrow, so you can do laps of this part. It is much more overgrown than the rest of the property and gets pretty rough in the braking bumps and whoop-de-doops. Okay, so I always find trails to be a bit difficult when you're riding them for the first time, because they go on for so long, but then at the same time you never know what you're kind of getting into. Everything, especially when you're going in blind. I mean, I feel like everyone can relate if you played Krakenberg for the first ever time. It's very overwhelming and a bit daunting. Once you played it a couple of times, you kind of know where you're going, and it's actually alright. Oh god, how big is this going to be? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, we got a good landing there. We're not going to go over this one. Turn it into a backflip and land it. Go on. Go on. Go on. Clean. Get this next one. Go yeet. Oh, can we make it 2 in a row? No, we're not going to make it 2 in a row. Okay, right. Check up on the first one. Noted. Don't absolutely send the life out of it. Good to know. It's actually where the textures on this is so shiny. It gets a bit difficult to see sometimes which direction you're meant to be going. And I feel like it might be. Oh, it's got to be like spec map related, making it so shiny. I feel like there's nothing else that could really cause it to get like this. I feel like it's one of them tracks that has quite a low sun position as well. This looks like a small double. Let's not send that. It is very unique in terms of like. It looks very fantasy trackish. Like some stuff is really overscaled, some stuff's quite small, very different to what I'm used to. We got like 3 ride lane here. We got a massive overscaled whoop section, and then we got two jumps either side. We're onto some sand here. I mean, it sounds like sand at least. Going through some massive rollers. This definitely gives me massive like fantasy track, the old Reflex kind of track vibes. Be interested to know what program Mr. Cloud uses for his track creating process. I, for example, use Photoshop. It'd be interesting to see what he's used to create these massive mounds here, there, and everywhere. And I'm kind of hoping that I'm going in the right direction. There's not much, again, in the way of signage around these parts. There's some more rollers in that direction. It kind of goes up, loops around on the hill. So I'm going to be a sneaky boy, and we're just going to cut through here because I want to get over to the juicy bits, the interesting bits. Where? Am I just like am I being an idiot? Am I completely lost? Or we meant to ride through? Oh my god, boys, I'm so lost. This is embarrassing. What I will throw out there is no separate like timing gates, no separate track as such as there is on the main track. So there's no timing at all for these. So it's all based purely off of what you see in front of you and what you can just go off of. I'm so embarrassed that I got lost. Let me try and recalculate and see where I'm going. Oh, never mind. I think it might just take in 2 minutes. Yeah, well, I think we're back on track now. Okay, lovely stuff. And this looks like a jump face rather than a jump landing, which it is. Oh, Christ. Backflip again. Please, 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 please. Yes! See, when you know you're going to come up short, you just have to turn them into all into backflips. Yeah, the timing on these jumps, very difficult so far. I can't tell how big they are whatsoever. I got that one pretty damn perfect, though. Let's go up on the pegs. Best way to go around some slightly rough corners I found is just up on the pegs, wait the outside a little bit. Check up here. Oh my idiot. Lucky this double's not too big either. This is a short one. I feel like, have I accidentally gone onto the pit bike track by mistake? Because all these jumps are so tiny. Up over this bad boy. And then it says apparently it turns right here and goes into a GNCC style track. So let's see what this next bit's like. Little tabletop. Hope it's nice and... oh, I love this. love it being all whooped out. I wish there was all like it, to be honest. Little scrub over this bad boy, land in the rough stuff. How has my front wheel survived that? Holy moly. That is very un-OEM-esque. The front ends usually love being munched up. Little double. Didn't have to turn that one into a backflip. I have no idea why the front end didn't just ping back up in the air then and it absorbed it and moved forwards instead. But literally exactly what I said before we started going around these trails. Very, very difficult when you're trying to learn these for the first time. You have no idea how big any of the jumps are, and I feel like some of them very, very small, others a little bit bigger than I expected, so it's hard to just get a general sense of scale right now. But looking around, like, it's very, very pretty. I'm surprised with the amount of trees that are on the track that I'm not having any sorts of like, FPS issues. I mean, my frames have been absolutely perfect, but I suppose they're just like images at the end of the day, aren't they? They're not an actual object with collisions or anything like that. But yeah, the what's the word I'm looking for? The optimization, that's the word. I just couldn't think of it for a second. The optimization on the track feels very, very good. I'm having no FPS issues for such a large area. I can't imagine like having to go through and place all these trees. I'm guessing there's programs out there that lets you like scatter things randomly rather than you having to place them all one by one. But it's very, very, it's like a unique environment. I don't think I've really ever played anything like this before. It does give me Swamp vibes. Well, I'm expecting to see like a model of Shrek dotted around here somewhere at some point. We'll have a look. I don't think I've seen anywhere yet, unless I have accidentally gone onto some of the pit bike trails. I haven't seen any pit bike trails at all. Anything that looks particularly small. We've seen the first two in the flyover at the very, very beginning. That's about it. Let's get on the binders here. This, honestly, the GNCC part of this, the second part of this trail that we're on, feels a lot better than the first part. It's a lot more predictable, although it's a hell of a lot more trail riding. But I think you can take some flat track and just add some rolling rough into it, and it just ends up being 10 times better. So there is the first trail done, which is called Far Away. Now there should be another one called Over the Hills. If I keep riding along in this direction, it should come along to the second sign, which is, oh, pit bike track. Oh, okay, right, noted. That is what we're going to be doing last. I will load up the pit bikes and give it a go. But we're going to going over the hills right now. Why am I in fifth gear? Okay. Which direction? Hello? Should I just try going? I'll go straight. I'll go straight. See what happens. We'll see. I need some signage. I need some like little orange arrows telling me where to go, because I am a big L gamer and I never know well enough. But let's try this one out. So in the description of this one, it says that it looks like sand texture, but it is not. It's actually soft soil, so you're able to keep your speed going. There is also, I'm trying to read and play at the same time, there's a few loop/lines where you can hit multiple jumps in a row over fallen trees and stepping up over and onto the hills. Okie dokie, right, noted. Let's have a little rip around here. Ooh, off cambers are always a little bit of a tricky one in this game. Let's be careful. Where is this taking me? Down to the left, get on the brakes. Ooh, I don't know if anybody else plays with combined brakes, but when you have really steep downhills and you're trying to brake slowly, it can cause you to get some very wonky physics on the go. Am I? No, I don't think I'm going the wrong way. I was about to say that landing looked like a takeoff for a split second, nanosecond. I feel like it's a-okay. What we like here? Oh, I don't know. I'm confused now. Annoyingly, yeah, there's no like directional advice at all, especially straight off that start. It's like you start and it wants you to loop around back on yourself straight away. So again, Mr. Clouds, if you're watching this and I am going the wrong direction, I'm so sorry. I'm useless at these sort of things. Although that one felt like a normal direction, and then it loops back over here. It's a very creative and imaginative layout on all these things, I have to say, which is something that I think if I ever do get around to doing more tracks than just the one that I'm working on now, I feel like it's something that I'd really struggle with is the actual track layout itself. I'm okay when it comes to just like adding like a tabletop or a single or a double in here, there and everywhere. But actually getting that base like floor plan out, I think I'd really struggle on. I'd either make it way too long, like way too twisty. I don't know, it's just, I feel like custom tracks are a lot harder to build than replicas, if that makes sense. Okay, that's the third backflip that that's the third one that we've landed here. It's, I suppose, if you get enough practice, it really isn't that difficult to get used to. I've somehow gone back into another loop on myself. So for the sake of video length and trying to not get absolutely lost around this actually massive set of trails. I am going to have a quick cut of power editing, and we're going to find ourselves back on the pit bikes on the pit bike track. Yo, I've been so long since I've hopped on these bad boys. They're always good fun though. I do enjoy the pit bikes. So let's see, what are we in for here then? Let's merge our way onto the little pit bike track here. It's been we don't get too many pit bike tracks on this game. Hurren has made 2 recently, which I think have got to be the best 2 in the game by far. But let's see what this one's all about. I'm going to guess that since it's in the trail area, there's probably not going to be much in the way of jumps. I have a feeling that it could literally just be a set of trails and corners. Oh, there's good old pit bike fashion, having the front end. I really like this grass texture and leaves that he's got going on here. I really like them. It looks really, really good. I found it in my hunting for good grass textures. I found it to be a little bit difficult. So it shows that they're out there. It shows that they're available and findable. The amount of time I've changed my grass textures like 2 or 3 times already in the short amount of time I've been trying to make the track look pretty. It's like some of them look a little bit too detailed, some of them aren't detailed enough, some of them look like very fake and unnatural. Some of them, they look good originally, but you've got to like kind of tweak them a little bit to make it look like they're not just like squares like completely when you repeat the texture over and over again. Oh, that's a lap already of the pit bike track, and I've tucked the front end in exactly the same place. You couldn't write it, could you? Okay, so not much to the pit bike track at all. Not sure if it was worth me leaving out and changing back and coming back in again, but you know, overall, this is a very, very creative. I'm going to call it a compound as such. I don't think it's Tampa anymore. It's very, very creative. Lots of unique things in here. Definitely gives me like some old school reflexy type fantasy track vibes, especially out on that first trail that we did. And I think, to be honest, with the right group of friends hopping on here, you could probably have a lot of fun for a very long amount of time. So very, very good job, Mr. Cloud. So you've been putting out some like very interesting, like let's call them mall tracks recently. You know, you put out that massive like waves free ride area, which I myself wasn't too sure, and I couldn't actually find any good jumps myself. But I'm not a free ride guy, as I've said multiple times. So I let that up to the leave that to the guys that do know how to hit free ride jumps. But yeah, I've actually really enjoyed this. I think the first trail that I'd done was probably the best part of the whole place, especially when it led onto the GNCC part at the end. I really liked that kind of skinnier, roughed out kind of trail vibe. So W on that. And I look forward to seeing some more from you in the future, sir. And you've definitely given me some things to think about when it comes to like creating my own track. So big W's, I love it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Most importantly, if you have, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'd really, really appreciate it. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.